everybody, so I thought I would do a Bible review, and I'm going to start with the Bible that I use for my my daily reading and my notes, and that is the Journal the Word Bible. And this is a hardcover in the King James Version, but if you prefer a different translation or a different cover, I think the contents of the book should remain the same across the various versions. So this will probably still be helpful to you. So I hope that you will enjoy this video. Thank you for watching. So I'm reviewing the Thomas Nelson King James Journal the Word Bible. And it's really, I'm doing this one first because it's the one I use the most. I take all my notes in it. And so this is it in its slipcover. So this shows an image of it, which you can't really see very well because of my lights flashing on it, but you'll be able to see when I take it out. It's King James Version. It's lay flat. Now, keep in mind, this cover may be a different cover from the one that you have, and you may have a different translation, but nonetheless, the contents should be similar as far as the way the Bible is laid out and everything else. So it comes in a slipcover. You can see what it looks like. On the back, it gives a description and an image of the pages. It's red letter. A sample of the font, beautiful, easy to read, which you'll see inside also. They say that it's 8-point type, although it's so very readable, and I have serious vision problems. The style, it's guaranteed for life, and it retails for $34.99, but I got mine for a little bit more than $5. Okay, and here is the book itself. I think it's beautiful. It wasn't my first choice, but when I saw the price on it, this is the one that I got. And so it's a black hardcover, and it comes in hardcover and soft cover, and all different kinds of covers. So the soft cover is not this design. It's different designs, and different designs. Some are hard, some are soft. I like hardcover books for taking notes because I always have something firm to write on. So here's the cover, and here is the spine. And here's the back. It's just solid. And here are the end papers. They're very, very pretty. And then here, the front, I have all kinds of notes in the front of it. And the dimensions of it, of the Bible itself, are, cover to cover is about 8¼ inches. And then from here to here is 6½ inches. The spine is 1¾ inches. And let me grab a scale and I'll tell you how much it weighs. The Bible weighs 38 ounces exactly, or 2 pounds, 6 ounces. So the Bible weighs 2 pounds and 6 ounces. The total number of pages, sorry for all my notes, this is the Bible I use, so it's got a lot of notes in it, is 1,395 pages plus a couple of extra pages for notes. 1, 2, 3, 4 pages for notes. And they have a note back here regarding the type, what they've named it and everything. So again, it has end papers. It's a great place to put Post-its, a dedication page, end papers here, whatever those would be called. And then this was published in 2018. It was printed in China. You can see that. It's got the epistle dedicatory to the King James, a table of contents, the Old Testament and the New Testament, and the alphabetical books of the Bible come on the next page. And then it begins the Old Testament with its own sheet. And then if I go to a page where there's no notes. Basically what you see here is it's got very nice chapter numbers. In the top corners, you've got the name of the book and where the verses begin. So this page begins at 1 Samuel chapter 4, verse 18, and then this has where it ends. So it ends at 1 Samuel 6:18, and in fact it does end there. The notes have faint lines, and they don't exactly match the text. In other words, each line doesn't line up with a line of text. But I haven't found that to be a problem because they're spaced well for writing, and they're faint enough that you don't have to go by them if you don't want to. What you'll see is you've got a 2-inch margin from the edge of the text to the edge of the page. And on the top margin, you have a little over a half of an inch, maybe a half plus an eighth, so an eighth plus 0.62 inches. And the bottom margin is smaller. It's about 3/8 of an inch. And then the inside margin is approximately a half an inch. I should have mentioned also that the pages are gilded. My Bible is heavily used, so it's got some scratches on the gilding, as you can see. But it hasn't affected the Bible at all. The use hasn't affected the Bible. Oh, I'll show you. It's got 2 ribbons. And the ribbons, they're nice thick ribbons. I mean thick in the sense that they're wide. They're nice wide ribbons. They're both black. They're a good length to be able to use them like ribbons. In other words, when the Bible's closed, they work well to be able to open to whatever page you want to open to. So they're functional ribbons. And I think, let me put them back in here for a moment. I think the binding is a nice binding. I don't know if you can see because it's black, but I don't know a whole lot about bindings, but I do know that I use this Bible a lot, and it's never given me any issues. So that's the best that I can tell you. I know that it has signatures, if that's helpful to know, and I have seen stitching. So that's the best I can tell you there. Let's see. It has no maps, so there's no maps in this Bible, and each book starts on a new page. So, for example, here's obviously Proverbs is ending, Ecclesiastes is beginning, and here's Isaiah. I'm trying to find a place I don't have a million notes. It starts on its own page, and let me think here. So we've got the margins, page numbers. It is a red letter Bible, so the words of Jesus are in red. The red is a nice red. It's a nice, consistent red. I don't see a lot of changes from page to page. And the text itself is beautiful, readable text. Like I said, let me find those notes. The text is beautiful, readable text. And like I said, I have poor vision. I don't have trouble reading this text. They say that it's 8-point type, but the spacing between the lines, the leading, is very, very nice. And you've got the verse number at the beginning of each line. The King James words that they've added are in italics, so you know whenever they've added words. There's various headings throughout that let you know, what's, the subject matter of, the subsequent section. So, for example, reasons for the exemption from battle, war with outsiders, so it's got the various headings, and say the chapter numbers are nice and large. It is not a line-matched Bible. So, in other words, on a line-matched Bible, for example, this line on the opposite side of the page, this line would be in the exact same place, so that you would only see. So that between lines you would only see the paper. In this case, it's not that way. It's not a line-matched Bible. And normally that can sometimes make reading difficult. But this paper is a beautiful paper. It's cream-colored. It's not white. And even though there is some shadowing, which I think you get pretty much in any Bible, there is a completely non-obtrusive shadowing. So I'm very, very happy with the text quality. Of course, this is a King James version, so it is verse by verse, so every verse begins a line on its own. It's not done in paragraphs. The paper, once again, it's a thick paper compared to other Bibles because it's made to be journaled in. I think here you can see some of the stitching. I'm not sure if you can catch that, but you can see where some of the stitching, where the holes for the stitching are kind of. So, so if that's helpful to know. I do my notes, I use the Mr. Penn's Easy Glide or something like that. Let me see here, I've got one. Mr. Penn's Sleek, I use those for the highlighting, and I love them. And for my writing, I just use a plain old Bic where it's got the four colors on it. The one thing I don't like about the Bics is they can tend to glob up, so this is my piece of paper where I clean the points off before I go to write. Otherwise, you get writing blobs, as you can see from the pens. The writing does ghost through. You can see the ghosting here, and you can see ghosting here as well. But once again, the ghosting is not intrusive. Here's where you can see potentially ghosting from the markers. They don't come through the paper at all, but there's just a little bit of ghosting, but it's completely unobtrusive. I have found the margins basically sufficient for notes, and I tend to, I guess I take as many notes as anybody else. You know what I mean? So maybe more, maybe less. I have my own way of taking notes. So yeah, so that's basically the Bible. Once again, it has no maps. It just goes from the Old Testament to the New Testament. Here's the cover page for the New Testament. Starts it on the New Testament with Matthew, of course, and goes on through each book, starting on its own page, and then on through to the end, red letters, including in Revelation, and going to the end without any maps or any kind of extras, little extra space for notes, then the end papers, and the back cover. It's a beautiful Bible, super sturdy. It's a great size. I've often thought of getting a different Bible, just because maybe I want one. Oh, that's another thing I should add. This does not have cross-references. It has no notes. It has no cross-references. And so that's one of the things I sacrificed for the price was cross-references. But what I found interesting is to simply make a lot of my own cross-references. And it's nice because sometimes with cross-references you don't necessarily read them all anyway. But this one you start to notice things yourself and you make your own cross-references from things that you've seen before. You're like, oh, I recognize that. And then the cross-references can be super meaningful. That said, you also might miss references that could be really interesting by getting a Bible that doesn't have cross-references. So, so I've got some of my own cross-references there. So there's no cross-references, no footnotes, no extras, no nothing, not of any kind. Although these Bibles you can get them with cross-references. So I hope that was helpful to you. And I love my Journal of the Word Bible. I've thought about getting a different Bible just because, you fill it with notes and you think, well, maybe I want another one. But I really, really love this one. I'm happy with the notes I have in it. And I think it's actually going to be hard for me to switch to another Bible, even though this has no fancy factor of any kind. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope it's been helpful to you. And if you'd like to see reviews of other Bibles in my collection, just leave me a comment, let me know. Thanks so much. So I hope that video was helpful to you. And if you'd be interested in more Bible reviews, just leave a comment and let me know, and I can review some other Bibles for my collection. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.